Hi there friends, thanks for joining me again. Today I am so excited. I am planting some potatoes in this container here. It's a fairly big container. It used to be a nice decorative planter, but it's kind of seen better days. Its paint is chipping and cracking and it just doesn't look as nice as it used to, so I'm repurposing it now as a potato bucket. And potatoes grow really well in containers. I have grown them both in ground and in containers, and I really think that they grow not only better, but they produce a better yield when they are grown in a container like this. So I haven't had any reason to go back once I've discovered this much better method of growing them. So now I just grow them all in containers. They're easier to keep care of, there's no weeding involved or anything. And also the deep bucket like this makes it so that as you're growing the potatoes, you can keep mounding the soil up around them. So it just seems to work out pretty well. Today I am planting these blue potatoes. I got these at Walmart, I think. Maybe it was Lowe's, I can't remember. And I'm excited because these blue potatoes are so hard to come by. I mean, they're almost impossible to find around here. They come in packages with these fingerling potatoes, but there's only like maybe, 3 or 4, maybe 5, and they're like tiny. And the rest of them are all the red or the gold potatoes, which are also good, but our family's favorite is the blue ones, so, and they're usually so expensive, so we only splurge on them once in a while, and then when we do, we each only get maybe one of the blue ones, so I'm excited to have a whole bucket of them. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your bucket has holes in the bottom, because if these potatoes sit in the water, all they're going to do is rot. They're not going to really grow. So make sure that you punch several holes in the bottom. I drilled a bunch of holes in the bottom of my bucket, and then I filled it with some of this oil. I use a 50-50 mix of topsoil and peat. Potatoes don't really like having their soil to be too heavy, and they don't like it to be too, well, what I mean by heavy is they don't like it to be too rich. Potatoes don't really want to grow in a whole bunch of compost and whatnot. They want it to be, not too rich, too heavy. Nothing that's going to hold water, because, like I mentioned, they are susceptible to rot. And also, they don't like a high pH. They prefer a nice lower pH. Not quite as low as, say, a blueberry plant or anything, but they won't tolerate any kind of alkaline soil. So the peat, I think, really helps to keep our topsoil from being, too rich or too, high in nutrients and whatnot. So, and it helps to lower that pH. So, yep, that's what I've done. I have put a layer of the soil mix in the bottom, and now I've put the potatoes down in the bottom of it, and then the next thing is just to cover them up. The package says to bury them 6 to 8 inches deep. But when you're going to be growing them in a container like this, you don't have to bury them that deep right off the bat. You could maybe just do 3 or 4 inches right away, and then as they're growing, what you're going to want to do is keep mounding up the soil around it. So basically, once they start to grow and they start to poke up through the soil, you don't want to cover the whole plant, but if the leaves are up here and then the stem is down here, you'll bury it up to where the bottom of the stem is. And as they grow up higher, and then you'll just mound the soil up some more, and they'll grow up higher, and you'll mound the soil up some more. In this way, when you're finished, or they're finished really, this whole bucket is just going to be totally full of potatoes. It'll grow new potatoes out from that stem all the way down. And so that's how the yield really is increased. And the other thing to consider is that green potatoes are poisonous. I forget what that chemical name is. I'll have to post it in the video in the comments section below. But when a potato gets too close to the surface and it turns green, that chemical that's inside of that potato just next to the skin now is poisonous, and it can cause, different problems, digestive issues and things like that. So not only is this an effective way to grow potatoes, but it's also a really safe way, because as you're mounding up the soil, the potatoes never really have a chance to come that close to the surface, and they don't have a chance to turn green. So, yeah, grow potatoes in containers and have a nice experience with it. I really hope that it works out well for you, as I know it has for me. So, again, my name is Frugal Green Girl, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and thank you for watching.